I went to a drinking party with my college friends, not knowing it was a mixer with beautiful secretaries. When I showed up in my worn-out work clothes, the incredibly beautiful secretary, who looked like a famous actress, showed her disgust. Really? Who wears work clothes to a mixer? How could you come in such dirty clothes? Confused by her sudden criticism, I wondered if she had some grudge against me as she continued to berate me with even harsher words. I came to this exclusive bar where it's hard to get a reservation, and now it feels like it stinks here. Work clothes are dirty, ugly, and smelly. Right? Seriously, who wears work clothes to a drinking party? It's so inappropriate. She looked at me as if I were something filthy. Seeing me hang my head, my handsome friend stepped in to help. Come on, let's all have a drink since we're here together. It's my fault for not telling him it was a mixer. Just let it slide this time, okay? Fine, but you'll make it up to me next time, won't you? She clung suggestively to the handsome pharmaceutical sales rep, looking down on me as she did. However, she had no idea that in the not-too-distant future, this relationship dynamic would reverse, leaving her in tears. My name is Samuel. I work as a researcher at a leading pharmaceutical company in the US. Being a researcher sounds nice, but in my case, it's a discretionary labor system. Our salaries are directly linked to performance evaluations, so it's surprisingly tough. The flexible hours are appealing, but conducting research requires a considerable amount of experiments. I arrived at work early and changed into the company-issued work clothes, then started checking the results of the experiments I set up the previous day and preparing for today's experiments. Good morning, Samuel. You're working hard early again today. Hey, Keith, good morning. I'm just wrapping up an experiment right now. That's great. This means we're getting closer to a new drug. I exchanged greetings with my colleague, Keith, and shared our schedules for the day. Oh, by the way, Samuel, you're definitely coming to the drinking party today, right? Don't forget like you usually do. Got it. I remembered that today was the day for a drinking party with my college friends. I realized I had come from home wearing my usual work clothes. Well, it's just a casual gathering with familiar faces, so it should be fine. Thinking lightly of it, I got back to my experiments. After finally entering the experimental data, I noticed it was well past quitting time. Wow, it's already this late. Time flies every day. As I sighed, my phone rang from the drawer of my desk. Hey, Keith? What's up? Answering the phone casually, I heard his loud voice from the other end. Hey! Where are you? I told you about the drinking party this morning, right? I reminded you again just a while ago. Do you know how many hours have passed since then? It's way past the meeting time. Hurry up. Oh no, I forgot. When I get absorbed in research, I lose track of my surroundings. People often say I'm a genius type on the positive side, but a recluse on the negative side. I'm often told that I'm indifferent to anything outside of research. I had completely forgotten about the drinking party with Keith. I hurried out of the lab and rushed to the designated place. Of course, I was still wearing the work clothes I had put on that morning. When I arrived at the meeting place, I saw my colleague Keith and my college friends lined up. Strangely enough, across from them were some beautiful women. Hey, Samuel. You're late. What? I thought this was just a drinking party with our college friends? One of our friends put his hands together apologetically. Sorry. I forgot to tell Keith that today was actually a mixer. What? To be honest, I'm not good with glamorous women. I've always been focused on research, mostly talking with science-minded women. Science-minded women have logical conversations that don't require reading between the lines. But I know that my blunt personality doesn't go over well with glamorous women. Moreover, today I'm wearing drab work clothes. There's not even a hint of a mixer atmosphere. Seriously, who wears work clothes to a mixer? How could you come in such dirty clothes? As expected, one of the women across from us complained. Looking closely, I realized the complaining woman looked a lot like a world-renowned actress, very beautiful indeed. However, her personality seemed incredibly nasty. I came to this exclusive bar that's hard to get a reservation for, and it feels like it stinks here. Work clothes are dirty, ugly, and smelly. Right? It's pitiful that someone could only come in such clothes to a mixer. As I hung my head at the sudden criticism, thinking here we go again, Keith stepped in to defend me, saying, "Hey, don't say that. Everyone here is involved in pharmaceutical research, so they all work in work clothes." Keith said that to defend me. Oh, I imagined sharp-suited guys because it was supposed to be a mixer with a pharmaceutical company. This is such a letdown. Sensing the atmosphere souring before the mixer even started, I said, "I'm sorry for ruining the mood. I'll excuse myself, so you all enjoy. I didn't know it was a mixer anyway, so let's catch up with the guys another time." "Hey, Samuel. Don't say that. Now it sounds like it's my fault." This is the worst. The woman pouted as if implying it was my fault. "Come on, let's all have a drink since we're here together. It's my fault for not telling him it was a mixer." "Mary, just let it slide this time." "Okay? Fine, but you'll make it up to me next time, right?" The beautiful woman named Mary replied to my classmate, Liam. Liam, though it's not my place to say, is tall, fit, and fairly handsome. As a successful sales rep at a pharmaceutical company, he's likely caught the attention of many women today as well. Wanting to get a step ahead of the other women, Mary spoke to Liam in a sweet voice. Seeing her completely different expression from the one she showed me, even I thought she was not the one. Then, the woman sitting next to me at the end of the table spoke to me. "Hi, I'm Lily. You're Samuel from that famous pharmaceutical company, right? I really admire your company. You keep developing new drugs one after another. It's amazing. I'm so happy to talk to you." Apparently, she had a serious illness as a child, but the drug our company developed helped her recover. That experience made her a passionate fan of our company. "But I'm dressed in these unfashionable work clothes in such a stylish place. Doesn't it bother you?" "Not at all. I wanted to hear about your work and the drugs, so I don't care about the clothes. Actually, the work clothes make you look like a real researcher, which is cool." Her bright smile made her look like an angel to me. She kept bringing up different topics and laughing cheerfully before I had a chance to speak. While all the women at this mixer were secretaries, often seen as haughty, Lily was different, and I found myself moved by her. But just then, the unpleasant voice I heard earlier echoed from our front again. "Oh, here comes Lily's goody two-shoes act. It's impressive you can suck up to such a boring guy in work clothes." "Well, I don't have the hobby of drinking at a bar with a guy in work clothes, so you two boring people suit each other." Now she started to insult Lily too. Seeing the atmosphere turn cold again, Keith tried to say something, but I stopped him. Feeling sorry for Lily, I told her we'd talk more another time and left the bar. After leaving, I realized I hadn't exchanged contact information with Lily and felt disappointed. The next day, when Keith gently apologized for the previous night and I brought up Lily, he casually said, "Oh, Lily? I got her contact info. Want me to share it?" "Oh, I see. She was a fan of this company, not necessarily interested in me. Keith works here too, so it didn't have to be me. What was I expecting?" Realizing this, I felt dejected. Seeing me suddenly lose my energy, Keith looked puzzled. "What's wrong? Are you interested in Lily?" Keith teased me, but honestly, I wasn't in the mood. Well, a budding crush I discovered for the first time had shattered in just one night. No, I need to check the experiment results soon. See you. Hey. Keith started to say something, but I didn't listen and went back to my lab. That's how the world works. Cheerful and likable guys like Keith are preferred over gloomy ones like me. I shifted my focus back to my research. With the new drug research at its final stage, I spent the next month practically living in the lab, barely going home. And finally succeeded in developing the long-awaited new drug. Congratulations! You finally did it. Thank you. I finally feel a weight off my shoulders. It's been a long journey to get here. Yeah, you did great. Thanks. The new drug I developed is a new anti-cancer drug I had dreamed of for years. By targeting only cancer cells in the body, it minimizes the impact on normal cells, reducing the unique side effects of chemotherapy. As a child, I lost my mother to cancer and watched her lose her hair and fight nausea due to the chemotherapy. She often cried, saying she wished she could forego treatment because the suffering was too much. After 2 or 3 rounds of treatment, she lost her vitality and could barely converse. Her immune system weakened to the point where she was confined to a clean room, making it difficult for us to visit her. Samuel, live a long life doing what you love. I'll be heading to heaven a little early, but I'll always be watching over you. In the end, those were my mother's last words before she passed away. Even as a child, I questioned the treatment. Why did she have to suffer so much from the drug meant to cure her illness? Wasn't there a way to target the disease without the pain? These questions sparked my interest in pharmaceuticals. I studied pharmacology and joined this company to reduce the suffering caused by chemotherapy. I dedicated myself to developing anti-cancer drugs with fewer side effects. Fortunately, during the development of this drug, I made several unexpected breakthroughs, leading to treatments for brain tumors and new painkillers. One of these drugs helped Lily overcome her serious illness. In a way, I felt a destined connection with her, but it seemed fate had no romantic plans for me. Then Keith brought up something unexpected. By the way, did Mary contact you on your phone? Wait, Mary? Who's that? I tilted my head, unfamiliar with the name. Keith made a bitter face. She's the woman who was rude to you at the mixer. Oh, her. While she was beautiful, her personality made her someone I didn't want to associate with. Why would she contact me? Apparently, she wants to apologize for the terrible things she said to you back then. No, there's no need for an apology. I just don't want to have anything to do with her ever again. Yeah, I figured you'd say that, so I refused to give her your contact info. Keith said awkwardly. Then she asked Liam for your number and tried to contact you several times, but you never responded. She complained to Liam, and he reached out to me. But I didn't want to bother you during such a critical time in your research, so I didn't say anything until now. Yeah, as you know, when I'm deep into my research, I focus solely on that. I'd been practically living in the lab for over a month. I didn't even have time to check my phone. Exactly. But a lot happened during that time. Did something happen? I asked Keith, feeling curious. Suddenly, I was called to the president's office. Samuel, Mr. Nelson wants to see you. Could you please come to the president's office? I gave Keith a quick nod, saying we'd talk later, and hurried to the president's office. When I arrived, President, Mr. Nelson, extended his hand for a handshake. Congratulations. You did a great job. Thank you. Now we can reduce the suffering caused by the side effects of chemotherapy. With a sense of fulfillment from finally achieving my dream, I shook Mr. Nelson's hand and let a tear slip down my cheek. I hadn't cried even when I lost my mother, but now the tears flowed. I couldn't cry back then because I couldn't accept the reality of my mother's absence and felt ashamed of my own helplessness, thinking I didn't deserve to cry. Even though my mother wouldn't come back with this new drug, she would still gently pat my head and say, "You did well." Now, I felt it was okay to cry. That's how I felt. Have you made your decision? Mr. Nelson asked me that question. As I lifted my head to answer, I suddenly saw someone I didn't really want to see come into view. What are you doing here? Noticing my stunned expression, Mr. Nelson began introducing her to me. Oh, this is Mary. She'll be working as a secretary for us. Nice to meet you. I'm Mary. Looking forward to working with you. Her eyes were already looking down on me in my work clothes. She might have been trying to pretend it was our first meeting, but I couldn't forgive those condescending eyes. Mr. Nelson, I'm not sure how Mary was hired, but she isn't suitable for our company. Oh? And why is that? Mr. Nelson asked curiously, so I explained about her. This company stands on the hard work and dedication of its researchers, as you well know. Indeed. Our researchers are our greatest asset. But this woman dislikes the work clothes our researchers wear daily. She called them dirty, ugly, and smelly. Such an attitude doesn't fit our company's culture. You're right. A researcher's work clothes are like their battle armor. They are brave warriors fighting unknown diseases. We don't need someone who mocks their battle attire. What? Mary was the one who looked shocked by my words and Mr. Nelson's response. For a moment, she opened and closed her mouth as if trying to say something, then finally, with a determined look, she pointed at me and said, "Excuse me, Mr. Nelson, but he is the one unfit for this company." "Oh? And why is that?" "Actually, I was waiting to gather evidence, but he has been leaking our clients' personal information to other companies." "What? Me?" I was dumbfounded by the accusation. As I stood there in disbelief, she opened her phone and showed a photo. "This is a copy of the client information he gave to another pharmaceutical company. His phone should have the same data. I plan to inform Mr. Nelson and have him arrested." "What nonsense! You're lying." "It's true. If you're innocent, show us your phone." As we argued, the door suddenly knocked and opened without waiting for a response. There stood my colleague Keith and, surprisingly, Lily. "Keith and Lily? What are you doing here?" I asked, bewildered. Keith replied, "I was going to tell you earlier, but Lily joined the company as a secretary right after that." Confirming Keith's words, Lily spoke. "Yes. I didn't get to meet you then, but I've been working here for a month. It's a pleasure to meet you formally." "Oh, I see. So, why are you both here?" They had heard our argument from the president's office and thought there was trouble. When Lily saw Mary pointing at me, she gave her a sharp look, unlike her usual demeanor. "Mary, are you trying to frame an innocent person, again? What are you talking about?" Mary retorted, "I know you were extracting personal information from the phones of men you met at mixers and selling it to rival companies." "What nonsense are you talking about?" Mary looked panicked. Keith then added to her distress. "After the mixer, you contacted everyone, including Liam, right? We found out that their phone data was copied after you contacted them." "So what? That doesn't prove anything. It could be a coincidence." Unfortunately for you, employees at pharmaceutical companies, especially researchers, are very strict about security. We have software installed that sends an alert to specific contacts if our phone data is copied. A month ago, Liam received such an alert. And so did the others you contacted. That's just a coincidence." Mary insisted. Lily then provided further evidence. "Mary, you used the same method to get me fired. You stole client data from my phone and passed it to a rival company, spreading rumors that I was responsible. To clear my name, I hired professionals to investigate. The hacking software you used infects a target's phone when they answer a call, extracting data. The recipient of the data was traced back to your phone. That's a lie. You're just jealous of my skills and trying to frame me." Mary shouted. "You've always tried to play the victim and weasel your way out of situations, haven't you? But not this time. I had professionals investigate your phone, and they found tons of incriminating evidence." "What? You hacked my phone? That's a crime. You're the last person who should be saying that." After a fierce argument between the two women, Mary seemed to realize she was at a disadvantage. In a final desperate attempt, she pointed at me. "The real culprit is this man. Yes, he must have tampered with my phone out of spite for making fun of him. Mr. Nelson, please believe me. It's all his fault." The accusation was so absurd it was almost laughable. "Oh? And what benefit would I have from stealing information from everyone's phones? To be honest, I have access to personal information of far more influential people than my colleagues, or even Mr. Nelson. Why would I need any of this trivial information? What are you talking about? There's no way you have such connections." Mary retorted. This time, Mr. Nelson spoke up. "No, he's telling the truth. Samuel has connections with CEOs of major pharmaceutical companies, renowned researchers worldwide, and even some Nobel laureates." "What? Mr. Nelson, what are you talking about?" Mary looked confused by Mr. Nelson's sudden statement. Mr. Nelson then added, "Because Samuel is my son and the next president of this company." "What?" "Moreover, most of our major drugs were developed by him. He has been studying pharmacology on his own since childhood, and joined our company as a temporary researcher while still in middle school. He developed a famous treatment for a rare disease when he was in high school. We've kept his identity low-key to avoid poaching by other companies and offers from prestigious universities and renowned professors overseas. And now, he's developed a revolutionary anti-cancer drug. My time as president is over. What? It can't be. As Mary let out a foolish-sounding exclamation, security guards were already standing by in the room. By the way, we hired you to lure you into exposing your crimes. We've recorded everything with surveillance cameras and your computer's camera. Additionally, the data you sold to other companies included a special gift. The data I sold? Mary stammered. Yes, it contained a virus. The moment they opened it, they were infected. You will likely face severe consequences from them. What? How could you? Hearing this, Mary trembled. Her actions had now clearly exposed that she had stolen our company's information. After that, Mary was handed over to the police by security. Of course, we included all the evidence we had gathered. According to my father, she was one of the industrial spies operating around the pharmaceutical industry. She mainly targeted pharmaceutical researchers with honey traps, but ended up being manipulated by her targets instead, making her a rather incompetent spy. Having completed the much-anticipated new drug, I decided to take over my father's position as president. My father had asked me several times before, but I had insisted on completing the new drug first, and he had graciously waited. Lily, who had unknowingly joined our company, became a close confidant. By the way, Lily, what's going on between you and Keith lately? What do you mean? We're just as usual. Keith has always looked out for me since I was a child. Since you were a child? Oh, you didn't know? Keith is my cousin. He took care of me when I was sick as a child. Oh, I see. I realized I had made a huge mistake. I heard that he would be working with the person who developed the drug that cured my illness, and I asked to meet you. Even if just to see you up close. After joining the company, I learned that you were actually Mr. Nelson's son and the next president. So I was too intimidated to approach you. But now, I'm so happy we can talk like this. You're happy to talk to me? Yes, I've always admired you. Oh, really? I see. I felt foolish for assuming that Keith and Lily were romantically involved and thinking I should step aside. I had been a complete clown. After that, I took over as president and helped distribute the new drug worldwide. Lily, who supported me both professionally and personally, became my partner. Naturally, it was my friend Keith who helped bring us together. Hey, Keith. You always have my back. Don't you find me annoying? Not really, you're a clumsy research fanatic, but I don't find you annoying. Well, you're a good friend. Wait, you're my benefactor and my dear friend. What? Since high school, he had always looked out for me and taken care of me. I considered him a close friend, but it was the first time I had heard him call me his benefactor. What do you mean by benefactor? You know that rare disease Lily had? It's known to have a strong genetic component, right? Yeah. Well, my mother also had that disease. What? This was news to me. Keith's mother had been suffering from the rare disease for a long time, and she was in the final stages with little time left. Both he and his family had nearly given up hope due to the lack of effective treatments. Then one day, a groundbreaking new drug was developed domestically, which significantly improved the condition of those afflicted with the rare disease. Keith's mother was one of those who experienced this remarkable recovery. Wow, I had no idea. Yeah, you used to miss school a lot for your research. One day, I overheard the teachers talking about you in the staff room. They said you were a genius high school student who had developed an amazing drug. That's an exaggeration. It was just a byproduct of the research I was doing for the new drug. I was just lucky. But that byproduct saved my mother and Lily. When I found out you were the one who developed it, I was amazed and grateful. I felt ashamed for not doing anything meaningful while you were developing life-saving drugs. I wanted to do something too. But I knew I couldn't compete with you intellectually. So I decided to go to the same university as you and help you in any way I could. I see. I had the highest IQ score in the history of my elementary school. While teachers praised me, I felt out of place because my way of thinking was fundamentally different from other kids. I spent a lonely childhood with books and encyclopedias as my only friends. In middle school, it got worse, no one talked to me, and I was often isolated. Instead, I found joy in learning about pharmacology from company researchers, so I didn't need school friends. As a result, I barely attended school, just meeting the minimum attendance requirement. Nowadays, there are support groups and communities for gifted individuals, but those didn't exist during my school days, leading to severe isolation. I remembered how much fun I had in high school thanks to Keith. Honestly, he was the one who taught me how to interact with people. No matter the reason, you're an important friend to me. Let's keep supporting each other. Yeah, you can count on me. Keith and I laughed together. People recognize me as a genius who invented many new drugs. However, that's just the outcome. I owe it to my mother, who raised me while struggling with her illness, my father, who let me freely pursue my passion for pharmacology, my friends who never abandoned me, and Lily, who loves me for who I am. I've been supported by many people to get to where I am today. We often think we stand alone by our own power, but that's not true. We live supported by the love and kindness of many people. I want to remember this gratitude and continue to work hard so that I can repay their kindness someday.